Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing today? We've got the 899 Panigale out. For those of you who haven't seen this bike before, this is my 2015 Panigale 899. I had this bike for about a year now or so, and I love every single bit about this thing. It's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Miami, so we're gonna go ahead and get this thing out on the road today. I'm gonna take it to a couple little events. I got church in the morning, I've got my son's hockey game, and so we're just gonna take the bike. The family's already left, so we're gonna catch up to them, but I figured why not take you guys along. We can talk about the bike a little bit, see how it rides. This is honestly one of my favorite bikes. I absolutely love this thing. All right. So this is pretty much a stock bike. Haven't really done anything to this thing outside just regular maintenance, and then of course the tail tidy, because stock tail ties that come on these things are just horrible. They come all the way out to here. They look awful. This has got a nice Futurist moto tail tie. I think it's one of the best looking ones on the market. It's nice integrated turn signals here, a little light. It's just super clean. It's so much better than all the other ones that I see on all the other bikes. It wasn't cheap, but honestly, man, you get what you pay for. But other than that, she's pretty much a stock bike. And for these 899s, man, actually one of the reasons I went with this bike is because from the factory, these things are pretty loud. They sound good. It bothered all the Europeans over there overseas, and so for the 959 they made it quieter, and then of course for the V2s even quieter after that. So, oh yeah, I did replace the headlights with LED bulbs as well. I mean, I think they were like probably less than 20 bucks on Amazon, and I mean they look great. All right, now it's just warmed up. Let's go ahead and take it out. Swing a leg over. Oh no, I got my gas light on. Don't tell me we need gas. Alrighty. Man, this is just an absolutely beautiful day here. Probably haven't ridden this thing in, I don't know, maybe a month now. You know, I've been sick for like the last 2-3 weeks. Got like the flu, and then got neurovirus right after that. Then I've been doing a little bit of traveling for work, which who knows, maybe that is part of why I've been sick. But all that said, I haven't been able to ride the bikes much, and usually I ride these things every single day. I commute on all my bikes to work, and so I was going through a little bit of withdrawal there for a little bit. But anyways, so this bike's a 2015. Like I said, I've had it for about a year now, although it feels like longer, to be honest. And I've been riding this thing quite a bit. I really like it. It's definitely the least comfortable bike I own. You know, I've got the CBR 600 RR, and I've got the Ducati Diavolo, the 1260S, and both of those bikes are more comfortable than this. This is just incredibly aggressive, leaned over stance. You really have to hug the tank. It's just not exactly a comfortable bike, but it's so much fun that I oftentimes hop on this thing anyways. So I'm not really sure how much gas I've got in this thing. We're just going to go ahead and top it up real fast. All right, let's go ahead and get her filled up. thing with these Panigales, man, they just want to move. They just want to go. They don't like being ridden slow. I'll have to give a full review of this bike at some point. You know, the things that I really like about it, the things that kind of drive me nuts. I'll be honest, there's not a whole lot that drives me nuts, but there definitely are a few. Spoiler alert, it's usually in the realm of, I think this is my turn, is it? Yes, it is. It's usually in the realm of maintenance and stuff like that. Maintenance, working on these bikes is not particularly fun. There's usually, like, you know, for every normal bike step in doing something, this has like 3. Like oil changes, for example. It's quite involved. It's not hard, but like once you learn how to do it, it's pretty easy. But you gotta buy more stuff, more parts, and it's not like just a quick little oil change with an oil filter, as you would expect with most bikes. But once you kind of get past that stuff and come to terms with the fact that it is an Italian superbike, you can kind of appreciate it. All right, buddy, go ahead. You got it. One of the things I will say about this bike, without getting too far into the weeds on all the intricacies of ownership, which we'll do a video on for sure, is the heat. Now, if you've heard anything about Ducatis, specifically the Panigales, holy crap, do they run hot. You know, 10 minutes into a ride or so, you will be feeling the heat all up and down your legs. They run so hot, these things, and I had heard that they run hot. I never really quite understood just how hot they run until I bought this thing. I mean, if you wear shorts on this bike, you will scald your legs. Like, you will actually burn skin. They just get that freaking hot. Let's see if we can find my wife's car here so I can throw my gear in there while I am in church. Oh, is that her down there? Might be it. I think that's it. Yeah, there she is. Well, I can't really park there. I mean, this bike looks good. It's one of my favorite things about it. Looks gorgeous. Just a gorgeous looking bike. We are just finished up with church now. Quick change of plans. So my son's hockey game, actually, we missed it. It was early in the morning. We mixed the times all up, so we're not going to be going there. But it is Sunday, and down here in South Florida, there's a big bike meet that happens every Sunday, just down the street from my house, and so we're gonna go check it out. There's usually a ton of bikes there. You can hear them all day up and down the highway ripping. We're gonna go see what's there. Just pop by real quick, walk around, see what kind of bikes are there. Yeah, just check it out real quick. So let's go ahead, hop on this thing and get going. here is US 27. This is a highway right by my house, runs right up against the Everglades, and like I said, every Sunday you see nothing but bikers just racing up and down this. Man, I love this bike. You see some bikes over there. So yeah, like I said, every Sunday there are just bikes everywhere. They all come out. People come pretty far for this actually, which is pretty cool. So. This is it. Pretty good turnout right now, looks like. To park just for a minute, walk around a little bit. Bunch of bikes here, man. And this isn't even as busy as it gets. I've seen it get way busier here. We'll go right here between these guys. Like I said, you just hear that all day long here. Alright, so I've got a nice little Busa here. Looks pretty stock. Lowered though, but not stretched, which is unusual. You don't usually see too many unstretched Busas here in Florida. That thing's clean, man. So yeah, you got everybody out here. You got Harleys, sport bikes, cruisers. Really not a whole lot in between down here in South Florida. You know, it's a lot of sport bikes and a lot of cruisers and Harleys. Not a whole lot of ADVs like this here, nice Multistrada V4. That's a nice boost. I love that orange on that thing. That thing's clean. And the Indian FTR Carbon. This actually was almost my first bike. I almost bought one of these. Still really love this thing. My buddy's actually contemplating getting one. And I kind of hope he does, because these things are awesome. I went with the Sportster S, the Harley Davidson Sportster S, which just came out at the time, instead of this. I kind of wish I went with this one. The Sportster S was cool, but seating position for me was just really uncomfortable with the forwards. This would have been a lot better. Here's all the cruiser boys. What else we got here? S1000 double Rs. You see these bikes everywhere here. They are absolutely everywhere down in Florida. I feel like every single person has one. And not gonna lie, I kind of want one, but with how common they are, I don't know, I just feel like I want something that's different. You don't see too many 899s. Look at this, man. It looks like everybody's about ready to get going. Look, all these ADV guys. I guess I have to take back what I just said. It looks like they're all getting ready to go out. M1000R. That's a sick bike too. There's a nice CBR. A little older. Yeah, a lot of ADVs here today. Not as many sport bikes as I usually see here. R1M. I really like this V2 Panigale, the white and red. Gorgeous, gorgeous color. Super sharp. Gixxers. This right here reminds me of my old Gixxer. This is the 1000. But really, really nice bike. Now that's a 600. That's what I used to have. And I love that thing. Kind of sold me on the 600 class, to be honest. Here's another one. K7. Cool bike. Pretty decent turnout today. Like I said, this thing goes all day long, so still not quite sure like when the most popular Yeah, I can hear these guys from my house typically. That's a nice color Harley. I actually like that. So a lot of people, like a lot of groups meet up here and go on big group rides from here. I really like this BMW. That thing is nice. I like the exhaust on it too. It looks beautiful. Nothing too crazy today, but it's always cool and fun to stop by. Back home. Look at that. I have like 3 S2000, another S1000 up water. They're everywhere. They're absolutely just everywhere. That's the only problem I have. They're great bikes and I know why people buy them. But I don't know. I mean, every single person has one. These guys are probably going to get on it. There they go. So this bike's been pretty great, man. Like, I did a lot of research when I was looking for these Panigales of this generation, because I like the new ones. I do a lot. They look amazing. But I actually think these look better. I know that's maybe a not so common opinion, but I really, really like the way these Panigales, this generation, looks. And so I was doing a lot of research before buying this one. And I landed on the 899 simply because of the fact that they're known to be the most reliable. And when buying a Ducati, you want every bit of reliability that you can get. This thing has been nothing but good. There has been a couple little things that have gone wrong with it, which I'll share in maybe another video, more in depth when I talk about my ownership experience with this bike. But it was only really a couple things, like the water pump, which is a very, very common issue on these bikes, went bad on me. This thing only has, it doesn't even have 7,000 miles on it yet. Pretty low mile bike, but they're known to go bad very early on. And mine did. So the thermostat basically grenaded itself. I was leaking coolant out. I was able to get it home,
about 35 miles away from home when I noticed it. But I was able to get it home, fix it without an issue. But other than that, I've had zero problems with this bike. None. It's been incredibly reliable. And I've heard that like the 1199s and 1299s, a little less reliable. With like electrical issues and all sorts of crap like that. And so I didn't really want that. Plus, this bike is already really fast. And it being the 899 gets a little bit better fuel mileage, which this one, for whatever reason, is really not. But I've got to figure that out. These are known to get well over 100 miles per tank. I usually get about 70, 80. So overall, that's why I chose the 899. Not to mention the 899 versus the 959. They're essentially the exact same bike. In fact, the brand new V2s that are out right now are basically the same as this bike, just with maybe a little bit more tech, right? Not infotainment, but like the TFT display and all that. Like, you get a lot more in terms of the screen. But everything else, like underneath, the bike is the same. And so, you know, for the price that you can get these for, which you can get a nice 899 for right around 10 grand. You get less than that if you're lucky. Maybe one with higher mileage, or maybe a little bit of rougher shape. But you know, it comes around, but then you can get some pretty good deals on these bikes where brand new ones will run you like what, like 18,000 or so after tax and all that. It's a lot of money for a bike. So you basically get one for half the price. That's just as quick, looks just as good, and it's probably more reliable. Which I think is a really good value proposition for this bike. Which is why I got it, and I'm very happy with it. The only thing you got to do is just make sure you keep up with the maintenance, which, I mean, that really goes for anybody, but with Ducatis, you definitely want to make sure you're hitting all those things. We're just taking a long way home, because it's a gorgeous day, and I'm probably not going to get back on this bike for about a week or so, because I've got to go out, a little work trip. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be taking the bike. You see a lot of these mopeds here in Florida, man, let me tell you. And these people that don't ride with helmets are absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. I do love Sundays, so seeing all the bikes out, it's so great. Because I'll be honest, like, so I used to live in Virginia, where, you know, there's a decent amount of bikers, but I thought that down here in Florida there'd be motorcycles absolutely everywhere. And I gotta say, like, if it's not Sunday around this area, I almost never see them. I don't know if it's because people are too scared to ride down here, because you gotta be definitely on your toes riding around down here, because the people drive like absolute maniacs. So you've almost got to ride just a little bit more crazy than them if you want to have any chance of surviving. But I don't know, man. I don't know if it's the heat. I have no idea, but I thought for sure down here in Florida you'd see a lot more people on two wheels. And since I've been here, it is not the case. Like, on any other day, I'm usually the only one out on a bike, which is just crazy. R600RR has an aftermarket aquapower exhaust, and this is way louder than that. Way louder than that. When I bought this bike, the guy who I bought it from, he fired it up for me the first time I ever heard it, or ever heard one of these at all, actually, in person. He started up and gave it a little rev, and it actually scared me, man. It made me jump, because I was not expecting it to sound so loud and aggressive. That's probably one of my favorite things about the 899. The newer Panigales, man, they do not sound like this, not even close. They sound like sewing machines. They just don't sound good at all. And so, like, for one of those bikes, you almost have to put an aftermarket exhaust on it. It's a must. This bike, I'm not touching the exhaust. I think this sounds amazing as is. I wouldn't touch it at all. Not to mention, the OEM just looks seamless, right? Like, the way it flows into this bike, underneath in the body fairings, it just looks great. And I haven't really found too many aftermarket ones that I think look as clean as this. So that paired with the fact that the sound is already stellar, like, why bother? It's definitely not as smooth as the CBR and the Japanese bikes, right? That's for sure. But it is still a smooth bike, and it's just got a lot of character because of its thumpy V-twin. That's the cool thing about this bike is, you know, one, you're riding a Ducati, so you've got that, you've got the cool factor, and like I said, this is such a good looking bike. This thing gets so many compliments whenever I bring it out, so many from so many people, and I mean, you really do feel like you're, you know, a MotoGP rider on this thing. I mean, bright cherry red bike. People say it feels like you're basically riding a Ferrari on two wheels, and that's 100% true. It does feel like that. These guys might be crossing, I'm not sure. So, yeah, I tell you what though, like, I already feel the heat coming off this thing, especially when you come to a stop. It just gets hot. The heat just radiates all up your legs. But I've ridden this thing in like the dead heat of Miami summer, and even going like 80 miles an hour, I can feel the heat, but it's not to the point where it's unrideable or unbearable. Depends who you are. I kind of bought this bike knowing that I was going to be dealing with that. It was one of those things I accepted going into it. So it doesn't really bother me, and I still ride it regardless. I don't care. I mean, this is a purpose-built race bike. It's not meant to be a cruiser to keep nice and cool and comfortable. Like, this thing is built for one purpose, right? Winning races. And so if you get a little bit of heat from that, right, that's just the name of the game. Out of all the bikes I own, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, which bike is your most favorite? Or the most exciting to ride, etc., etc. The answer is 100% this one. This thing just, you feel so special riding this bike. Every now and then it'll pop pretty good, just let out, boom! Shoot a big flame out of the exhaust. Thing's I own to ride. CBR is fun, but this is basically that on another level. And then the Diablo is a completely different kind of bike. That's I would probably say it's a faster bike, definitely faster. 0 to 60 off the line, off the drag, or whatever. That thing is insanely powerful to launch. Even comes with freaking launch control. But this thing, when it comes to top speed, this one is the king right here. But yeah, this is the most fun bike I own. And I thought about upgrading to like an 1199, which is basically the exact same generation. Same year, just has much more power. But I'll be honest, do I really need that? I mean, it's just going to be more heat, less fuel efficient, more expensive to insure, and marginally quicker. Unless I'm on a highway just bombing down the interstate, then yeah, that thing will definitely outshine this bike. But on a road course or a racetrack, this is actually only slightly behind that bike. Slightly. To me, it's not worth all the extras that I have to pay and deal with that. Not to mention, like I said, this bike has been incredibly good to me. Owned it a year, only had one thing I had to fix on it, which was the thermostat. And I actually just picked one up on eBay from a 2023 Ducati Panigale V2, which are known to not have the thermostat issue. They fixed it with an upgraded design, model or whatever, part number. And I think I paid like $40 for the part instead of $200 from Ducati. And it was a bit of a pain to replace. Don't get me wrong, like there was a lot of frustration in replacing that part, but got it done. $40, bing bang boom, good as new. And it has been riding good ever since. Also used that as a good time to change out the old coolant anyways, and I put in engine ice, which has been working great on this bike. Hey guys, well guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for some more rides.